What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. Yes, I do know we are having a little bit of a late stream tonight, so I'm not sure how the audience is going to be. Hopefully, it goes well. But we got a pretty good stream lined up for us for today. Obviously, the Mets and Giants series is over. So I do kind of want to touch on that because, like I said, I did miss yesterday's stream, so I do want to touch on that. And then we're going to kind of ignore yesterday's game with the Mets and Dodgers, act like it never happened. I do want to cover that. I do want to go into, what's going on with the front office. Obviously, a lot is going on with this Mets front office team, with Sandy Alderson, with Zach Scott, and with Luis Rojas. Obviously, Luis Rojas' seat is kind of in the jackpot. So we have to see what's going to go on with these guys. Will this offense continue to struggle? And what could this Mets team look like ahead and even a year from now? So before we get started, give this video a like, comment, turn on those post notifications, and all that great stuff. Great stream lined ahead for us. Smash that like button as always. But let's stop wasting any time. Let's dive right into the Mets and Giants series recap. So pretty much as we know, the New York Mets took 1 out of 3 games from the San Francisco Giants. Obviously, the Mets lost Monday's game, game 1, by a score of 7-5. We had Rich Hill on the bump for the New York Mets. 3.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, surrendered 2 runs, 0 walks, and 2 strikeouts. We did see his curveball was pretty on fleek. We did see a lot of fly balls. That is something that we see of Rich Hill. He does give up a lot of, fly ball contact. And he's a left-handed pitcher who's 41 years old. So he's only going to go, into the 3rd or 4th inning and kind of dial down. Following him, we did have Miguel Castro come in, 1.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, surrendered 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 0 walks. And then we had Trevor May come in, who has been struggling this year. Very inconsistent guy, an inning pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, and a walk. Familia, Loop, and Lugo were very quiet, so no complaints with them. The offense was there, just little, scoring and doing stuff with runners in scoring position. The Mets went 1-7 with runners in scoring position and left 9 guys on base. Pretty much, we rallied later on, kind of like we saw in, the first half of the season when, our offense was pretty quiet to start off games, and then we started to really rally on later on. So Pete Alonso did get a 2-run triple, something, you really don't see Alonso do. He's not a very fast guy. Pete Alonso had a 2-run triple, the Mets' first triple in for ages, I think. Following that, we had a Dom Smith sac fly and a VR home run. Not the best of ways. So the Mets lost this game 7-5. Game 2, Tuesday's game, the Mets lost 3-2 also. We had Marcus Stroman on the bump. Stroman pitched pretty adequately for the most part. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. The splitter slider was on point. He gave up the long ball to start off the game, but he was pretty quiet after that. 7 innings pitch is something that was really needed in this Mets rotation, and even the bullpen. You don't want to tax the bullpen. So it was great to see just Aaron Loup go in and only pitch an inning and retire 1 person on a strikeout. Pretty much same as game 1. We got hits, just was not very effective when we had runners in scoring position. We went 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position this game. Pete Alonso did hit his 26th home run of the year, 2-run home run in the 8th inning, but pretty much light contact by everyone else, base hits, BABIPs, all that stuff. So we lost game 2. And then in game 3, Wednesday's game, the Mets won. Wow, the Mets won a game, really. 6-2, the Mets won. Tyler McGill was on the bump. This game started at 3:45 Eastern Standard Time, and it felt like it went by in 10 years. Pretty much, Tyler McGill was on the bump, solid, 6 innings pitched, a run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He limited the count. He gave up a lot of whiffs, and he did awesome overall. We had Castro come in. We had May come in. We had Diaz to get out of jam with the runner on 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Familia come in, who unfortunately gave up a run. And we had Jake Reed, Jake Reed has really been a nice surprise. That splitter is awesome. It's 48% of whiffs. Gorgeous. In terms of the offense, the first 8 innings, we were dead. We had so many guys on runners in scoring position, couldn't score for their life. and for the first couple innings, the bats were so short. They were like 10-second at bats. But pretty much out to score Pete Alonso. We had a clutch double from Michael Conforto to drive in Jeff McNeil. We had a Kevin Pillar 3-run homer for the cherry on top in the 12th. And then Chance Sisco in his first Mets start, he was acquired from the Baltimore Orioles. He hit a double to drive in McNeil also. Familia won this game. 7th win of the season. Crazy to think that a bullpen pitcher is tied with 3 starters for most wins on this team. It really shows how much our offense really helps out our pitching. But pretty much, the Mets need to start being more aggressive. At the time of this series, they were 500. They are unfortunately a game below 500 now. So it's pretty unfortunate to see, but hopefully the Mets can get something done. But now, getting into the Mets and Giants, that's over with. Now getting into the Mets and Dodgers. Last night's game was Taijuan Walker and a bullpen game. We're going to ignore that. We're going to focus on tonight's game. Tonight's game is game 2, Friday. It'll be starting at 10:10 Eastern Standard Time. That's right, a late game, folks. We will have Carlos Carrasco on the bump for the New York Mets. Pretty much, he had an extremely rough start last time against the Dodgers. Was giving up a lot of hard contact, giving up the long ball. So I'm hoping Carlos Carrasco could really wake up. That is something that is needed. Currently, we see Carlos Carrasco on the season. With the Mets, he is 0-1 with a 10.32 ERA and 12 strikeouts. Versus Walker Buehler. Looking at these stats, it's tough. It's really only like 2 or 3 guys in the Mets that kill him. Alonso is one of those guys. But Buehler is 12-2 on the season, 2.09 ERA, 162 strikeouts. Great pitch mix, as I like to call it. He has the pitching cocktail. He pretty much has everything. Fastball, sinkers, slider, changeup. He has everything. So he mixes up his pitches. So what a Cy Young candidate does. Velocity, travel, strikeout rate, all that's there. So that'll be tonight's game. The lineup is out. I can go over that, actually, because why not? I will definitely go over tonight's lineup. Taking a look at tonight's lineup posted on Twitter, we see that leading off for the Mets will be Brandon Nimmo. Batting second will be Jeff McNeil. Batting third will be Pete Alonso. Hitting cleanup, batting fourth, Michael Conforto. Batting fifth, J.D. Davis. Sixth, Dom Smith. Seventh, Jonathan VR. Eighth, Patrick Mazeika going out there for his 3rd straight day in a row. Hopefully, Mazeika, he's been looking like a good framer, pretty solid. And then, obviously, Carlos Carrasco. So as long as the Mets don't mess up Carrasco batting, I don't really see what else the Mets would really have to lose it for. So, yeah, that is the lineup for tonight's game. It is going to be a very intriguing game tonight for the New York Mets. They're trying to get back to 500. Currently, they are a game over. They are currently a game under 500. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's game, Saturday's game. The Mets play game 3 Saturday at 4:05 Eastern Standard Time. We will have Rich Hill on the bump, taking a look at Rich Hill's Mets stats because he was acquired from the Tampa Bay Rays during the trade deadline or around that time frame. No record right now, 4.98 ERA and 14 strikeouts. Pretty solid, like we said. He has that low velocity curveball. And my my rules and recommendations and hopes for Rich Hill isn't too high. Try to go 4 innings pitched. I'm hoping that once we're fully healthy, Rich Hill could go to the bullpen and be a nice left-handed pitcher in the bullpen like the Mets really need. He's 41 years old. He can't, go out there and pitch 8 innings. He can only give you 3, 4, and then he'll really start to go kaputskis. So if Rich Hill can go 3 to 4 to 5 innings, that would be awesome. And then obviously he will be facing the newly acquired Max Scherzer, who is 10-4 on the season, 2.69 ERA, 140 strikeouts. Pretty much pitch to hit. He gives up barrels and solid exit velocity. But overall, he's pretty elite. Strikeout rate, walk rate, chase rate. And that's something we see with the Dodgers. The Mets, the Dodgers, they don't chase a lot. They don't swing at a lot of pitches that are outside the zone. They swing at pitches, and majority of the time they swing, they rely on hits, whether it's a foul ball, light contact, hard contact. Point is, they really hit the ball most of the time when they swing the bat. It's not like the Mets where they're swinging at breaking balls in the dirt or high end fastball that they can't hit. Dodgers, they know when to swing. And then in terms of Game 4, which will be Sunday's game at 4:10 Eastern Standard Time also, luckily, thank God, the Mets are not playing on Sunday Night Baseball. That has been a tragedy from last week. Game 4, we will have Marcus Stroman on the bump. 8-12 record, 2.84 ERA, 123 strikeouts, splitter sliders on point. If we can keep that ground ball ratio better than the fly ball ratio, we know Stroman's splitter is doing productive. And he will be facing against David Price. I was about to say David Peterson. David Price, the newly acquired Dodger also. He did not pitch last year. This is his first year with the Dodgers. Pretty okay, 4-1 on the season, 3.62 ERA, 50 strikeouts. He does give up a lot of BABIP hits, so kind of the Mets are pretty good for that, I guess, if you count Jeff McNeil, maybe J.D. Davis, Brandon Nimmo. So that could be something to look out for. Nothing crazy. The Dodgers are just a good team overall, and they are coming off back-to-back sweeps. We know the Dodgers swept 3 from the Mets, and then they swept 3 from the Pirates. And then they won yesterday's game. So they have won their last 7 games. I think even 8 because they played that Philly game. So the Dodgers are very deadly. Going into tonight's game, the Mets are 60-61. So they are just below 500. And the Diamondbacks are 76-46. So they are 20 games over 500. So we see the Dodgers are really trying to make a push for first place and try to dethrone the San Francisco Giants out of first place. So that is what we have with the New York Mets and San Francisco Giants series summary and the New York Mets and Los Angeles Dodgers series preview. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to drop them in the comments section below. Smash that like button so we can get out there to more baseball fans. There's been a lot of talk now with the Mets and what's going on with them, with their management, with Luis Rojas. With Steve Cohen, everything's been going on with the Mets. They've been very relevant. They were talking about them on ESPN the other day. So pretty much if ESPN is talking about the Mets, it is something that either the Mets oofed up or, because ESPN doesn't know a thing really about baseball. And I hate to be like that. If anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to drop them below. Obviously, yes, it's 7:57, so we have quite a bit till game time starts. It's gonna be a big game. The Mets really got to show what they're for. Mets really got to show what they are for. But pretty much, I did want to touch on this topic, and I think we all know it. It was literally just asked, and you literally read my mind, dude. Thoughts on Steve Cohen's remarks towards the team. So, we know what's going on with Steve Cohen. We know what's going on with this Mets team. We know the Mets are really struggling right now offensively. Since the All-Star game, they have been 12-21. That is not a good record to have. Coming into the season, the Mets' expectations were extremely high. They were projected to be like a first-place team, to have 100 wins. Point is, they were really, really, really projected to be a solid ball club. And sadly, we are not seeing much of that this year. I'd say maybe we had a solid week or two of where we saw that really. Overall, it's just been a tough past couple weeks for the Mets. And there's a lot of people to blame. You could blame Luis Rojas. You could blame anyone. You could blame anybody you want. If you want to blame your mailman, Sandy Alderson, Steve Cohen, Luis Rojas, the players, you can. I personally am blaming Sandy Alderson, Zach Scott, Luis Rojas, and some of these players. I think, honestly, it comes down to the front office. It comes down to, the manager spot is much different than how it was 25 years ago. When we had Bobby Valentine as a manager, dating back to when I was very young, just the role was completely different. It was more of a player's manager. They made more of the decisions, where nowadays Rojas gets a call from the analytical department and they say, oh, he has this percentage with this on the shift and yada, yada, yada. It really comes to how many decisions he makes. Going into the season, I referred to Rojas as a honeymoon phase, saying that, 2020, we should have not judged him for it. This is the real deal. Rojas, he's never been the guy that made me say, wow, that was an awesome idea for Rojas to, move this guy down or have this guy go here. Wow. He's never made me go like that. He's been about adequate, nothing crazy. Then it really came, honestly, with the Mets and Dodgers series where I just said, I'm done with him. I don't care if the Mets make the playoffs. I want him out anyways. You know, and what we saw in the Phillies series where Rojas told Stroman, do not take the bat off of your shoulders when you had the bases loaded because he did not want to double play. And he knows this team is struggling with runners in scoring position. And then obviously following that, what did the Mets do? They hit into a double play. Brandon Nimmo for his third double play of the season. So that was unfortunate. You know, we saw what he did last week. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. Please feel free to check me out on Twitter at Mets Hayden. I pretty much was speaking with a couple fellow Mets fans, and we were watching the game together live on a FaceTime call, and they had Carlos Carrasco bat. And it was after he gave up 6 runs into the third inning. And I said, interesting. You know, imagine they take him out after this at bat. And my friend's like, nah, Mets aren't that stupid. What do? Rojas takes him out. What was Rojas' excuse? Well, we only had a 4-man bench. You know, well, really, that's your excuse. We only had a 4-man bench. That doesn't fly by me. Looking at these press conferences with Rojas, he's dead. He sounds depressed. He doesn't sound like he knows what he's doing. He says, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you do not know? You know, the reporters asked him a question and he replies with, I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you mean you don't know? You're a manager. I mean, why did I mean, make me the manager. I mean, come up with something. You know, this is the New York media you're going after. This isn't, you know, I don't know. But the point is, Rojas, never been really too big on him. You know, I've never really been too big on Rojas. Sandy Alderson, listen, it's a different time, Sandy. I personally don't feel Sandy Alderson has much trust in acting general manager Zach Scott. Zach Scott, I don't want to say he's inexperienced, but, excuse me, my issue with Zach Scott is he claims how analytically driven he wants this team to be, yet we look at the OPS with Will Smith versus left-handers and right-handers, and, you know, we're going the complete opposite to what it's telling us. That's analytics there. And, I mean, OPS, is that really a crazy sabermetric stat? Not really. So I'm not really into sabermetrics or analytics or stats, and even I know that. So that really goes to show something. Simply enough, the Mets, something's got to change this offseason. I really think Steve Cohen needs to bring in his own guys. I think he needs to bring in his own president of operations, his own general manager, and his own manager itself. Really, the only guys, I think someone asked this in the chat, who are the only guys you would keep on this team in the staff? And the only guys I would really honestly keep in terms of the coaching staff, I mean, Quattlebaum's gone. I mean, the only guys I would really consider keeping are, I guess, Jeremy Hefner and maybe like a guy like Dave Jouse. I mean, there's no one crazy that sticks out to me there. You know, people say, oh, well, then who's going to become the Mets manager? Yeah, I understand there's not many guys out there. You know, there is a Carlos Beltran, and I understand if you don't like the, what do you want to call it, the young rookie manager. You know, I think it comes to a point now where, you know, the Astros cheating scandal is kind of behind. People still care about it, but I think if Cora's in a job, if Hinch is in a job, I really think that Carlos Beltran should have a job. That's just how I feel. I wouldn't be opposed to having Beltran as a manager. Yes, he's a rookie, but he's a player. He knows what it feels like to be in a certain player's shoes. He could relate to Brandon Nimmo. He could relate to Pete Alonso. Rojas, listen, he's a rookie manager in the MLB. I mean, he managed, you know, in the Caribbean leagues, you know, throughout all of his life. But, you know, no pun intended, it's a whole different ball game out there. So that's what you really got to realize with these teams. So, you know, I think taking a look at the Mets, there's going to be some major changes in this front office ahead. And, you know, it's unfortunate, you know. And in terms of Steve Cohen's remarks, listen, everyone hates to have their boss yell at them. I mean, if I'm at work, I don't want my boss looking over my shoulder saying, hey, Hayden, are you doing this right? Did you fill out this form correctly? You know, did you calculate this correctly? You know, I would hate that. You know, so who wants, you know, your boss coming into the locker room and, you know, saying you guys suck? And who wants the general manager saying, you know, we're playing like dog crap? I wouldn't. But, you know, you got to fire these guys up somehow. I mean, sitting there doing nothing isn't going to help either. But, you know, getting into some questions, we will get into the chat a bit. Rob Manfred, what's going on, my man? Jed, what's going on? Logan, yeah, Mets are in need for a win. They are, man. They certainly are. Logan, John, what's going on? Cubs Nation. Yeah, you know what, man? I definitely feel your struggle. You guys had it worse. You had a complete rebuild. Just like that. It was a big shock. I didn't expect. I just thought Bryant would go and maybe Kimbrel at most. I didn't expect Baez and Rizzo to depart also. So I feel your struggle, man. But you know what? You got some good prospects. You got Pete Armstrong. You still have Wilson Contreras. You still have, Kyle Hendricks. You got pieces there, so you never know. And they could always get those guys back. I mean, Baez is a free agent after this year. They could always get those guys back. But I think with the issue with Jed Hoyer, I don't know if they're going to want to come back. Ashley, what's going on? Dalton, what's going on? You seem like you really know your stuff there, my friend. You should be waiting for SNY. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, listen, I would definitely like the job over the current SNY crew. Dalton, what's going on? Alexander, Quinton, YouTube Productions. Yes, lineup is out. Hopefully you did hear me go over it. AB, what's going on, my man? Dar, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Michael, I'm upset about DeGrom. Hall of Fame year, and this happens. Why? Yeah, I mean, I briefly made a video on that yesterday. If you guys want, please feel free to check out the video I made in regards to Jacob DeGrom and the injury. It's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, just please feel free to check that out. I could put a link to that in the description. It came out yesterday. I uploaded it about 24 hours ago. Great video. Pretty much my initial thoughts on Jacob DeGrom and really how it all went down pretty much. So check that out. Give that video a like, comment, all that great stuff. Seahawks, Jose, what's going on, man? Kobe, what's going on? Jed, what's going on? Ruben, Michael Conforto was waking up. That's a pro there. Yeah, I guess that is I don't know if you're saying that's a positive or if Conforto is like a pro. Yeah, I guess that's a positive, and hopefully Conforto could be like a 2020 pro. I think we need Conforto to wake up. I think he's, and that's a big reason I think the Mets offense is lacking is because you're having, really your whole team besides Nimmo and Alonso in a slump. I mean, if you got maybe two guys hot, if you got Conforto hot, and maybe JD Davis coming to a 2019 self, I really think this Mets team would look a lot different. A lot different. And that's one thing that I am really, really confident in. Z Sports Cards, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. Baseball is my air. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Jed Carson, what's going on? Dar says fire Rojas. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you on that. Mr. Cool, what's going on, brother? Devin, I did go over that, so hopefully you guys saw that. Trade everyone. I'm not trading everyone, Jose. No, definitely no. I don't want to trade everyone. Stream tonight. Well, we're streaming now, but in terms of the game, we'll see. I know I haven't really done too many game streams yet. I do definitely want to start doing those a bit more. I know a lot of people miss my rages. So we definitely could get those started if the Mets start to get hot, because if they're just going to sit here and, swing at every first pitch and, hit the ball into the shift and all that stuff, what is there to watch? But, loyal Mets fan no matter what. But yeah, definitely, I like you guys. I'm glad you guys like to watch along. So we definitely could bring those back shortly. Another Hayden. Hell, there's another Hayden. Is Sandy Alderson going to get fired? Yeah, hopefully you did go over, hopefully you did hear my little rant or spiel about that. At this moment, I think he is. Fire Sandy. All right, you got Jack support. Christopher says we're winning tonight. All right, man, I hope so. I like the personality, positive personality. Maniac Matt, Mets are complete trash. Yankees are way better for sure. I'm a Mets fan. Yeah, man, no, listen. I get that. Yeah, I mean, things are kind of coming back to reality. Mets struggle. Yankees were better. Yankees, I give them props. They made the moves at the deadline. They were struggling with hitting and runners in scoring position. Their offense wasn't clicking. What did they do? They got Anthony Rizzo. They got Joey Gallo. They weren't getting any offensive production from their left-handed bats. They got two strong left-handed bats. I don't want to say Joey Gallo is strong, but he walks. He hits dingers. That's all. Those two guys are helping out this team. We saw Andrew Heaney. Really helped out last night. And they made some good moves this deadline, and, props for them. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? We'll see. The Rays are hot. Red Sox are in a downfall. Blue Jays are mishy. But currently, right now, I think they are second in the wild card. All of a sudden, Yankees can't lose. Yeah, they've been doing pretty well. Steve Cohen remarks me nothing. It's all hot air unless he does something and follow through. Yeah, man, I agree. You know, a lot of I feel Steve Cohen does is talk. You know, we saw him on Twitter, and personally, I'm not super big on Steve Cohen and his Twitter. I don't really like the owner of a team communicating through Twitter. I think there are more professional, not even professional ways to do it, but it's like, you know, when we're down, you know, like 5 runs and it's a blowout or something, and you have them tweeting out like, out for Italian with the family, like, what's going on with the Mets? It's like, dude, nobody wants to hear that. And I agree with you, man. The remarks don't mean anything. I mean, I can go in there in the dugout and say anything. Doesn't mean it's going to be true. But I agree with you, man. Yeah, Rojas is gone. Yeah, absolutely. Regardless, if somehow we make the playoffs, win the World Series, he's still gone. Hey, Hayden, the Mets need to step it up now before it's too late. I agree with you, man. That's exactly like 2019. We were playing solidly, and then everything, you know, we were struggling. We clicked, and it was too late. Which Mets player do you think could help ignite the offense first? Well, currently, I mean, pretty obvious. Nimmo's doing well. Alonso's doing well. And VR is doing pretty solid. In terms of guys who I think that are currently, you know, slumping or streaky now, we could consider Jeff McNeil, Michael Conforto, J.D. Davis, Dom Smith. Yeah. So, honestly, I'm going to say if we can get at least Conforto to play how he's playing now, you know, have like a 9-game on base streak, something like that. And if we can get J.D. Davis swinging the bat better, if we can get a little bit more, if we can get the offense from 2019 from J.D. Davis, and not even a 2020 from Conforto, but if we can get 2019s from Conforto and J.D. Davis, even close to that, I think we could start to play better offensively. Giovanni, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, Vincent, I agree with you. I think Hefner's a pretty fair guy. I mean, pitching, I mean, they don't do anything with offense, and our pitching's great. We're all, you know, all these games, you know, we're not getting blown out like 15-1. I mean, we're losing these games by like a 2-3-1 gap difference. So it's nothing crazy. Our pitching is doing well. I mean, I saw something that said, like, if we got 3 runs in every single game, we would have been like 75 and like 42, which would have placed us in like second place in all of baseball, which was like, this was a week ago. So it's crazy to think. Yeah, Mr. Cool. Yeah, the rages. Yeah, definitely going to start to do some more game streams coming September, maybe. We'll see how it is. Definitely once the playoffs hits, regardless who's in it, I definitely want to cover that World Series, ALCS, NLCS wild card. Definitely like to cover those. The season's over, but at least we still have keep going. Yeah, the soft season's going to be big. You know, there's not crazy many guys out there. It's pretty limited. You have Castellanos, and that's really all I think the Mets could pursue. And there's a lot of shortstops, but we have that locked down. And I mean, you can get a guy like Yusei Kikuchi or someone, but no one crazy this offseason. Ken, what's going on? Yep, happy Friday, of course. Who was your least favorite person on SNY? Ooh. Sal Licata drives me nuts. I don't mind Sandy Martino, believe it or not. Call me nuts, but I don't mind Sandy Martino. Sal Licata drives me nuts, though. I'm serious. You're great. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the positivity, great comments. I appreciate it. DeGrom on IL, this is why we can't have nice things. It is. It's unfortunate, really, what happened with DeGrom. Do you think the Mets are lying about it? Yeah, I think I talked about this. I got a comment pretty similar to this last stream. Of course, I said Sal Licata. You mentioned him. I don't think the Mets are lying about DeGrom's injury. Even if they were, he would just get up there and say it's a complete bogus lie to the New York media. I don't see why he would lie, or the team would lie. DeGrom wants to do what he's best. He wants to go out there and pitch, but if he knows it's going to hurt him, he'll speak up and say, I don't think it's a good idea. I trust DeGrom really more than a lot of these other guys in the team that feel about DeGrom. Kobe says, at least Alonso and Nimmo are hitting the ball well. Yeah, that is true. Alonso got 2 hits last night. Nimmo got a couple hits. So that's really the only benefit there, my friend, sadly. Any chance Noah comes back this season? Yeah, Jose. Actually, Noah Syndergaard is coming back. He did face some live batters in San Francisco during, the like before the game, during the workouts. He should be coming back hopefully in a week or two, I'm hoping. So we'll see. He obviously is going to have to do a rehab. So that'll be a week. So I'm hoping Syndergaard can come back in a week or two. That's the expectations. We know Lindor and Baez are set to come back by tomorrow, maybe Sunday. So we'll see. That'll be a big move, having Lindor and Baez back. Now it comes down to the question is, Jeff McNeil is going to be playing third base. Oh, I hated it too. Trust me. So obviously you're going to have Javier Baez at second base, Lindor at shortstop. So they're going to be double play partners. So your infield, you're going to have Alonso at first. Same with him. Don't worry about him. You'll have Baez at second, new. Lindor at shortstop, okay. And then you'll have McNeil at third. So my question is, do you bench JD? VR is getting benched. I mean, VR is getting benched. He's a bench guy, so that no concern. But it now comes to the question is, are you going to bench JD Davis? Are you going to throw him in the outfield? No, because you have Conforto, Nimmo, and Smith out there. And even if Smith is struggling, I don't think they're going to throw JD out there. I mean, we saw how he is defensively, especially in the outfield. So that's my question is, well, I mean, do you bench JD Davis? Do you tell JD, listen, step up this Dodgers series or you're being benched? And it's unfortunate because, I mean, that was originally JD Davis's role coming to the Mets. JD Davis was supposed to be a bench bat. That's what we traded for him. When we traded with the Houston Astros, we expect him to be a bench bat, nothing crazy, around below average glove, nothing crazy, utility guy, and, an average bat, nothing crazy. And he really exploded. I mean, like 23 home runs, a fair batting average, fair on base percentage, go the other way. He really showed in 2019 that he was more than a bench bat. So I don't know. I know Dom Smith now is starting to go downhill, and that is because this is the first time Dom Smith is playing a full season. Dom Smith has never played 100 games before. So this is really going to be something to see. So I don't know. Dom Smith, I wish him the best of luck. Do I think he'll, he has short stretches, but they're like 10, 20 games. And I mean, season's 162 games. So you're going to need at least, 140 solid, 130 solid games out of him. So we're going to have to see with Dom Smith. He's never played 100 games before in a season, and he's at that line, and he's not doing anything too productive. So we'll have to see. That's all we could ask for. That is all we could simply ask for. But yeah, if anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns regarding the Mets, the Astros, the Phillies, the Dodgers, drop them below. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yes, this is a Mets channel, but I like to cover all things MLB. Christopher, I appreciate you tuning in, man. As always, enjoy your weekend. Crack a cold one. I know you said you like doing that during the Met game. So crack a cold one. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Always. And LFGM. I remember Sal Akata said that $320 million deal wasn't enough for an all-star potential Hall of Fame caliber and didn't care what his smile and leadership, even though he deserves the $121 US. Yeah, I don't know. With Lindor, that's a whole debate with it, honestly. And that's for another day. I don't have the energy now to rant off about the contract. We'll just say if he could be his 2018 self, then I'll shut up. Yeah, Connor, sadly, McNeil is going to be at third base. He was taking some ground balls there. I mean, his range isn't so much the concern. I think it's just more because everyone's like his OOA, but I don't care about his outside above average. That's a small sample size. He had that one good defensive play against the Phillies, and he fell down and he got the double play. But what is that going to cut? So we're honestly going to have to see. I don't know. We're going to have to see with McNeil. I mean, Alonso, Baez, Lindor, McNeil is pretty good. I mean, the defense should be solid there. I mean, you're helping out Alonso a bit more. Alonso's getting better with the glove. I will say that. He's getting much more patient and much better defensively at first base. Last night, I don't know. His scoops are good. Regardless to last night, scoops above average. That should be a stat. His scoops are pretty good. Dar, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Yes, great stream. David Wright manager, I'm taking it over Louis Rojas. Realistically, probably not, but I would have no problem of him coming into this team and doing. I know he's in the front office now, but I don't really. I know he's doing something in the front office, but I would have no problem if he wants to come down and try to be a hitting instructor or some type of instructor for this Mets team. That would really help them out a lot. So yeah, I don't really care, Yeah, honestly, David Wright, do I think he's a fair choice for a manager? Not really. But I think he could do something with this team in terms of coaching, whether it's hitting instructor or, I always stated that I would love to have Mike Piazza, David Wright, Beltran, just warming up with these guys on the field, before the game starts. Play catch with, have David Wright play catch with JD Davis. Have Pete Alonso, have a catch with, I don't know, Carlos Beltran. Let him do, let these guys talk. Let them get a feel of each other. Really, let them get a feel of each other. But yeah, David Wright, potentially, not so much a manager, but maybe something in terms of the physical department of the team. Yeah, I'll be happy when we win games too. Can I ask something that is appropriate? If it's appropriate, go ahead. As long as it's not anything foolish. Timothy, if you were the GM, what would you resign Baez for? To be honest with you, if I was the GM, I'm not resigning Baez. I was one of the few people that really, well, not so much the few people, but I was a big advocate for Baez at first. Then I really kind of looked at his schedule, and I wasn't crazy about him. Then I kind of saw, I don't know. Then I kind of saw Baez really, yeah, he had that nice home run against the Reds. He helped us out in that series. But he's just too much of a free swinger. His defense is overrated. Offensively, he swings at every pitch. This dude has, yeah, he won us the Red Series, sure. So that's one game. But there were like 8 other games where he came up to the plate and they were like bases loaded and 1 out, and he strike 1, strike 2, and he's swinging at these breaking balls in the dirt. I'm not so big on Baez. He has a low on base percentage. He barely walks. He pretty much hits home run or strikeout. That's not going to help us out. So I'm not resigning Baez. It's some miracle I had to resign him. He wants like $200 million. I'm not giving him that. I don't really want Baez, to be honest with you. So I don't, I'd obviously, and I question, and that's why, because then you have the whole domino effect. Then you're going to have McNeil move over to third base. And I don't like McNeil at third. I like him at second. McNeil, he sees the ball come off the bat better on the right side of the field. So he's not going to play right field. He's going to play second, obviously. So this comes to the whole concern of having Baez on this team. But if we're going to re-sign him for, 5 years, 4 years, he's a free agent this year. So we'll see. If we were to sign him for 3, 4, 5 years, approaching that 150 mark, I don't know. It's going to be something we're going to have to see with the Mets. Great job. I appreciate it, Jose. Hayden, who do you blame the offensive struggles? Yeah, Marco. Hopefully you saw me go over that. I don't want to have to rant off again about it. But I'm blaming a lot of people for it, to be honest with you. I blame the players, and then I blame the coaching staff. I blame the front office, because there's times where they make these moves, and it makes no sense. Call up Vientos, honestly, at this rate, you may as well. Being realistic, though, Khalil Lee is one guy I think the Mets should really call up. He doesn't provide a whole lot of contact from what we saw last time, but he has a wicked glove. But now he was mashing in the minor leagues. So maybe he could help us out with some contact. I wouldn't be opposed to calling up Khalil Lee. Why are you throwing in Albert Almora Jr.? He's an automatic out. At least Khalil Lee has a higher chance. Yeah, Almora has speed, but Khalil Lee, you're getting a mix of a glove and a bat, where with Almora, you're just getting a glove. So I wouldn't be opposed to calling up Khalil Lee. Mauricio and Vientos, I feel they're a little too young. But Khalil Lee, I think, is honestly fair. Genesee Fargas, former Met. He got DFA'd by the Cubs a couple days ago. If you want to bring him back, he has some nice wheels, nice speed. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Mets will get better. We got to stand with our team. I like always a Mets fan. Once a Mets fan, always a Mets fan. LFGM, of course. Do I watch Pokemon? No, I do not. Something is special about the Mets. Yeah, Colby, I don't even know. Something's weird about this Mets team. This team needs Cano. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with Cano. Obviously, we have $20 million to pay for him for the next year. Are they going to just give him the money? Are they going to dump the contract and say, well, you did steroids, you cheated, you don't deserve it? Or are you going to try to find some room for him? He's not – I don't know if he'll be a starter. He's like 37, 38. We have, Baez or McNeil at second. He's not going to play anywhere else. Could you put him as a bench bat and see if he could have some bit of pop left in his bat? I don't really think it's worth it. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Personally, I think they're just going to opt out of the contract. Just give him the money and walk away. You blame the mailman. Yeah, I know that's my famous saying. You could blame your mailman. You could blame the coaching staff. See a great stream, man. All right. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, Devin. Yeah, that is probably my calling sign. But we had a great stream. If anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Remember, everyone, smash that like button. Turn on those post notifications. The bell button right by the icon, so you never miss an upload, live stream, or anything else like that. Comment, like, subscribe, post notifications. Tell your friends about this channel. Tell your cat, your mailman, your parents, your best friend. Tell them all the same stuff I told you. Mets and Dodgers coming on. I know a lot of people were asking me if I'm going to go live for that game. Probably not. Typically, yes, I do go live for walk-offs, but I don't think it's possible the Mets to walk off at Dodger Stadium. Mets have only been able to walk off at Yankee Stadium, and that was typical 2020 for you. Otherwise, I think that is really all for the Mets walk-offs at opposing ballparks. But yeah, great stream, everyone. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, as always. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what goes on with this Mets team. Hopefully, we can get something rolling. If not, it's gonna be unfortunate. It really is. We are one game above. We are one game below. My apologies, of 500. So we're gonna have to see. Are the Mets going to show they're real or not? I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Remember, everyone, stay positive. Let's keep strong. Mets, it's going to be a rough ride, but hopefully one day it'll be worth it. I appreciate everyone for watching. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya. Let's go Mets, LFGM. Let's get that W tonight, guys. Take care, guys.